bad kitchen, boy.
What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another one, and today I want to talk about how to move once you actually get your Hellcat or Scat Pack, or hey, even the Dodge Viper, a Gen 3 version. But what you need to do, you already know that you need a garage. But with these vehicles, you're going to want to drive it. So even if you have a garage, things may not happen at your house, but they can happen in public at any moment. Or if you were okay at home, if you're not the type of person who watches your surroundings, someone can follow you home and get the drop on you. Or they can simply just put a tracker on you. Check it from time to time for a tracker. Like I felt some weird stuff the other day because one of my alarms went off, talking about vibration detection, but when I come check my car, it wasn't nothing wrong. So I'm like, okay, was somebody touching my car? Because the first thing I did when I came out was, check my windows. Like, okay, my windows ain't broke, okay. But my vibration detection went off. So something happened. I don't know. Maybe the wind blew a little hard that day, or somebody actually touched my car. I don't know. Just the chances you take. I said, damn, somebody touching my car. So yeah, and I don't suggest anyone having one of these and you don't own a firearm. Now, I knew someone who did have one of these. He had a Hellcat, but he didn't have a firearm only because he was a felon. So he played it right. Yeah, you ain't, you playing it right, you legit. But with the type of vehicle you have, you not having a weapon puts you in harm's way. It really puts you in harm's way because all it takes is for one idiot. You could be respected and loved by people all over your city, but it's just got to take one person who doesn't care about that, or who doesn't know you. They don't know who they playing with. They don't know any of that. They don't know you from a can of paint. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. I really wouldn't. I mean, now, obviously, you're paying for the vehicle. You want to be happy. You don't want buyer's remorse. You want to live your best life because you only get one anyway. I really wouldn't suggest it. I mean, it's only going to get worse now that these vehicles will never get made again. And what I like to tell people to keep in mind, yes, you may have insurance, but insurance is not only going to cover your vehicle. That's not going to cover you going out there and getting a brand new vehicle the same caliber as the one you have. Let alone if you bought your stuff 2 or 3 years ago when interest rates were lower than they are now, you getting a Hellcat now would probably be out of your budget. So whereas 2-3 years ago, you could get a Hellcat and monthly your payments be about $700 a month. For sure in 2020, you could lease one for $700 a month with good credit. But now you getting a new Hellcat in today's with the 8%, shoot, you're gonna be looking at least $900 to $1,500 a month, depending on which model of Hellcat you get, or it depends on how much you put down too. So it's really a rough situation. Honestly, just live your life the best you can, but protect yourself if you have to, and protect your belongings. This is not a car that you can treat like a Ford Fusion and just drive everywhere, park everywhere, but at your own risk. If you want to do that, and you the type of person who don't care, like I literally have a friend, he doesn't care. He'll pull up, park his stuff anywhere, and he'll say, "Oh, well, that's what I got insurance for." In my head, I'm like, yeah, I understand, but who wants to go through it? I make a lot of videos for educational purposes and to put people on game. And I made videos about, your finances and getting your credit right and going through a credit union to get these vehicles. And people don't really pay attention. But surprisingly, people like my videos like this, where I'm just in the car, I'm giving y'all a game on this, and it do well. So I gotta feed y'all. What I've learned about this YouTube journey is it doesn't matter what I want to put out. Only thing that matters if you're really trying to be successful on YouTube is fulfilling your supporters with what they want to see, not what you feel is funny or what you feel they should know. You got to give them what they want. So I don't mind giving y'all these regular car videos. To me, I never would have thought that people just, would pay attention to me just talking in my car. But, obviously, there's a lot of people who agree with some of the things I say. Now, people ain't just going to agree with everything, but I feel like there's always a truth to the things I speak on. So, I only speak on the things I know, and I'm not going to lead people in the wrong direction. If you're the type of person who really drives these cars how they're meant to be driven, and you're not on the Autobahn or a real drag strip, you need to always keep a full tank of gas, because you're gonna get in trouble unless you get you a nice radar detector. I've had people tell me, "Oh, the radar detectors don't work." Absolute lie. The radar detector I have is a long range, long distance radar detector. It picks cops up before they're even in close enough for you to see with your eyes. That's how good this detector is. So definitely invest in that. I've had a couple tickets myself. And one of the tickets was state trooper got me, and from behind him. So I was lost on that. And that's when I learned that state troopers have radars on the back of their car as well. So after that, I was scared to speed for a while, but then I got a radar detector. And the only time your radar detector won't go off is if the cop doesn't have their radar on. And if the cop doesn't have their radar on, they can still tell if you're speeding, but I don't believe they can necessarily tell the exact speed you're going. So it's going to be hard for them to write you that ticket unless you're just going like 20 or 30 over, where it's just so obvious. But if you're just doing a little over, they won't really be able to tell without that radar on. You have to treat this like an old school Monte Carlo Aero Coupe or an old Bubble Chevy or Caprice. It's getting to the point that dailying these is really not it. Because not only the gas, okay, we know what we're getting into as far as gas and everything like that. But depending on who you are and how you move, once people start seeing you come the same way every day, or once they peep that it's a woman in a wide body Hellcat, people just sometimes get the wrong ideas. Like, let that Netflix bill be late, or them lights get cut off, and that's going to activate something out of somebody that you don't want to see. And even for them, that's a bad thing for them. You come playing with the wrong person, thinking that, oh, they just about to give something up that they worked so hard for, or whether things was given to them. And that might be the time that you get hit with that heat. You come up there playing, come up here trying to steal something, and whether it's at gunpoint, stealing it out their driveway, or anything, or You steal their car and it's heavily tracked, and they track you to your house and pull up on you. Now, you got a lot of people who ain't worried about calling the police first now. They gonna pull up about that issue and ready to set. So that's to the robbers too. Be careful now. You take the wrong person's stuff. Hey, I don't motivate people to run or do any of that or do things that are not legal. But I do recommend getting a plate, like a little fake plate. Not a fake plate that looks like a real tag, but I'm talking about a custom plate, like maybe with your nickname on it or your car group name, just to have for when you go to meets or when you want to cut up, or just to drive on it, period, and keep your regular plates in the car. But in some states, I don't recommend that. But know your laws on where you live at. Like me, if I was to do that, the worst that could happen is they write you a little fix-it ticket. And if you get lucky, they might just let you go with a warning, or just let you go put them on the car right when they pull you over. But if you get caught with your fake tag on and you don't have your tags in the car, you're in the rough spot. You might just go ahead and get that ticket. But with that fake tag, a lot of people know that from your tags, if somebody has the right connections, they can look up where you live and who you are from your tags. That's why you see a lot of celebrities, they don't have their tags on their cars. A lot of them really don't. And that's why, because someone would then get the drop on their house, and while they're out doing something else, and people know where they're at, know they're in another state or another country, someone could come rob their house or anything. And their family's there or not, take their belongings, prized possessions. So I'm not against people moving with that fake tag either. At first I used to look at it like, why the heck are they doing that? But then after you're in these situations, you understand why. When you take this car in public, I definitely recommend you to not park in parking garages. If you have to, park your stuff where it blends in. Do not park your stuff off on its own to where you're like 5 and 6 spaces away from any cars. No. I've learned with this car, I used to be old school or do stuff that people always used to do. Like if I go to the mall or anything, I'm parking way over here and all the other cars are over here. No, I don't do that. I find any space that's in between cars. I'd rather take a little small door ding or something before I have my car gone or my window broken out. That's how I move. I always park between cars. I don't never park off on my own. Not in this car. I did in my V6 Mustang. I did in my Nissan Maxima, but this car, look, just think, I already got a loud purple car. It's a 392 on top of that, Daytona. So what I do is I park between cars to where it gives me the best chance to not be targeted. And also had a chance for people to spot them. And I don't, depend on people to watch my car for me or, but I just think all across the board, in every situation, anywhere I go, where should I park? How should I park? Everywhere I go, I always back in. I'm the back end, man. Back in. I'm going back in. That finesse 2-time, but yeah, I just back the car in everywhere I go. Some people say, oh, you could have just pulled. No, I don't just pull in. I back in for a reason. That's just how I move, me personally. If you don't back in and you're a grown man, that just says a lot. You don't really worry about your settings or anything. Now, there's some situations where like once every 3 or 4 months, there's some place that I go, I might just have to pull in. But that's every blue moon. That's not just my go-to. I'm just in a rush somewhere. I will stop and cause traffic to be able to back my car in. That's just me. When you're in public and you're in this vehicle, move around like you're the wolf. Don't be looking around acting scared or looking scary, not looking people in the eye or not. Look at them like you know, this is not like you're not gonna play with nobody. Don't act scary, because you can make it a situation where the person wasn't even finna rob you, but now since you acting all scary and everything, they just go ahead and just rob you because you acting scary. So always be the wolf and act like you're gonna be the offense. You're gonna do what it takes to make it home. Never give off, you know, walk with confidence. Like I emphasized in the last video, the kill switch is not the end of all, do all, no, the one mod you need. No, make sure you are protecting it with multiple security sources, not just that, because it can still be stolen with a kill switch on it. So with that being said, I can't tell you how to move, but to anyone who feels like, oh, I live in too good of a neighborhood or it'll never happen to me, I really don't think you should think like that. You're playing with your life, or you're just playing with your belongings. Don't do that. You already see examples all over the world. It's not just in the hood. Stuff happens everywhere. So don't just think that. That's a nice way for your Mopar to come up missing. And then when it happens to you, now all of a sudden you're making posts and you want everybody to find your car, when you should have never thought it wouldn't happen to you in the first place. You already know what kind of car you got. And also, if you're a person who rides dirty, this probably ain't the best car. And there's two sides to that. There's a pro to that and a con to that. The pro is if you're doing illegal things and doing stuff you're not supposed to do and have things that you shouldn't have in your vehicle, you have the horsepower to get away. Whether it's from bad guys, cops, any situation, you have the horsepower to get up out of the situation. Cons is you're just going to always get that attention, even if you're doing the speed limit and everything. Because obviously, if you're driving this, you're going to want to have it tinted out, blacked out. You're going to have a mid-delete. And if you like me, you're going to have a nice, crazy color on it. And with all that comes a lot of attention. So you might just be chilling, you know, just driving your speed limit, tags legit, everything. But you could potentially still get pulled over. And they might just say your window tint. They might not even care about your window tint. They might just use that to try to fish and get something even bigger, because you're already looked at as a drug dealer anyway. Off the rip. You a drug dealer or you play sports? You're already getting looked like that off. So let alone if you're actually partaking in those activities, you're putting yourself in a certain situation. But hey, Dodges is just hot, man. I mean, the rappers, the celebrities, rich and famous people really blew these cars up. They were already hot. You know, Hemis have been around for a while. But once the celebrities and the famous people just, you know, always posted them and talked about them, it just catapulted it to another level. For example, everyone knows how rich Floyd Mayweather is. And he has like over 60, 70 exotic cars. And we're talking about Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royce. We're talking about those. And we're talking about like 15 cars in each state that he lives in. That's insane. And he even bought a Hellcat. I mean, Shaq has Scat Packs and Hellcats. Like, come on. Like, this is the hottest car on the street. I don't care if you just have a Scat. Some people would rather have a Scat over a ZL1 Camaro, even though a ZL1 Camaro outperforms a Scat Pack. But it's just the look and the hype that comes with the car. Like, knowing you're in a Scat or knowing you're in a Cat, it just hit different. Like me, I have a 392, but I've had 2 other Scat Packs. And yeah, when you ride in this car, you know what you're in. You know you got that badge out there. You know people pulling up on you, recording with their phones. And in the Hellcat, it's intensified times 5. Because I ride in this all day, but I rode in a couple of my friends' Hellcats. And the fact that you hearing this whine, you knowing you in the Cat, you knowing this is the top of the top, it just hits different. And it's a fun car. So I can't blame anyone who wants the car and who has to deal with all this mess, because they're the funnest cars to drive. Now, there are other fast cars out there on the street. There absolutely are, but they're not as fun as this. They can be faster, they can hook more, and all that. They're not as fun as this. They're not. They're just simply not. It's not. So with all that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment of any more topics y'all would like me to touch on, and I'll make the video. Thank you. I'm out.